thoroughly enjoy the gratification that comes from making this thing with my own hands. I mean, think about it. Something that I created from scratch ends up on dinner tables of people I've never met all over this country. And in that way, with these wines, I'm able to enhance the moments they're sharing with their friends, their families, their colleagues. I mean, that's why I make wine. That's what it's all about for me.
Mr. Randy Hester, Lightning Wines, thanks so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful morning.
I know you and I have talked a lot about your relationships with your growers, and so I'm excited to have this opportunity to learn more about who these guys are and hear about your relationships with them. So if you could, let's find out, who are these guys?
Absolutely. Jim Four. I buy Grenache from Jim Four. Cobb Mountain, highest elevation in Lake County. And the Grenache is beautiful from there. We've worked together 1 year, and looking forward to many more to come. Dave Boss, friend of mine. Dave is a grower up and down both valleys here, and we buy Russian River Syrah from Dave. And we also happen to be in a tasting group together, so we get to knock each other's heads around a little bit here and there. So that's a lot of fun too.
So Jim, thanks so much for coming out today and meeting with us.
Oh, happy to be here.
So, you know, you guys have been working together for a while, and one interesting story that Randy told me is that he tasted through 80 different Grenache wines before actually picking a handful of grapes and growers that he really thought would meet his expectation. You happen to be one of them. So let's talk about how you two met.
Well, I think it was a mutual winemaker friend. Marlborough was doing a Grenache project, and Randy tasted through some of the other Grenaches that Peter Franis also does, and we've kind of hooked up from that point on.
And so what do you think about his Grenache? How's it tasting?
Very elegant, maybe a little feminine, very clean. I like it very much.
Sounds
very
lovely.
impressed.
You know, you work with a lot of winemakers. What do you find unique about Randy?
He's just hands-on style, good guy. He wants to be in the vineyard, wants to pay attention to the fruit. And that's, the type of winery we like to work with.
Good. So Dave, I was just chatting with Jim, and it's really interesting to hear about the relationship that Randy has with a handful of growers that he's become really close with, and I know how picky he is about who he works with. And so tell me a little bit about your process in the Russian River and what that looks like, and how you support Randy with your grapes.
Yeah, it's a little 2-acre Syrah vineyard, very small. When fruit became available last year, Randy and I talked about it and looked at it, and it fit perfectly into what he was looking for out of a Syrah. And it's great to see how focused and intentional Randy is with his fruit sourcing, because there's a lot of fruit out there, and he's been able to pick out very great vineyards to work with.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's really narrowed down who he wants to work with, and the ability to mix and match and pick and pull from these quality grapes in the region. So what do you think about his latest?
Oh, I love it. I think this vineyard is a little bit more on the elegant side. We picked it a little later. It's not quite as ripe. And Randy can work with that real well, and so it's made a nice elegant wine, a little more floral in notes than the big brash style that's going on right now. I love watching a winemaker that looks at the grapes and makes decisions based on that, not off some sort of formula. He really does a great job of working with the fruit and getting it to do what he wants it to.
Sure. And I understand that outside the vineyard you guys sit around and you guys taste through some pretty awesome wines. Tell me about that.
So I'm the new guy to our tasting group, and I'm the only non-winemaker. Which has its advantages and disadvantages, but it's been great. Just Randy and I have a lot of fun with that, and it's great to explore wines both for pleasure and for business. A lot of times we're looking at different Syrahs or Grenaches and trying to figure out what we like, what we dislike, and what other people are doing. So
sure.
It's a good time. You should come.
I would love to. And thank you so much for taking your time out today to meet with us.
You're welcome.